Right, back at it again. I'm just checking everything if everything's working. Is my sound on? Maybe I can actually. Oh, shit. Some weird ass.
Who said that?
Okay. Excuse me 1 second.
Who said that?
Okay. Excuse me 1 second. All right. Sound seems to work, so everything's good. All right. Let's go into it. So today I have a specific thing I want to solve that I was doing the other day, which was the thing with when you connect to an already existing node and sometimes it doesn't, it connects to the other one. I made a temporary solution for it, but I realized that I have something much better. And I don't know why I didn't think of that at the time. I think I was a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of code that I have written. But so in the action road builder, when we snap to the node, basically what we're going to do is keep the original functionality, but actually do snapping beforehand, right? Do the snapping in the UI. You see here if is intersection, and so basically we are going to say, well, actually, let's see here. Did we already do this? Yes, we can see that it is actually already drawing, right? But so what we want to happen is that this part over here disappears once it snaps. Okay, that's all. That's the first mechanism that we want to make. And so what we're going to do is we're going to remove this draw line. First of all, it will say just go cut it, put it down here instead. Okay, and the else. So for right now, it just means that if we're not snapping, then we draw it. Everything's good. Boom. Another line. You can see the line is not there anymore. But I think if I do, I do like this, and it works now because of the temporary solution I made the other day. But we're going to retreat our solution back into the other one again. So see, the problem is actually quite easy to solve. I'm curious. Yeah. So instead of mouse, this being the final distance, we just put it to the end node, right? And I guess so we can just do like this because it updates by itself. All right. That didn't really do anything. It actually does solve the problem and it works, so it's fine. But we need to make sure that that the solution. Let me see here. Yeah, it's this. It's actually this line right here. So we're going to change this up until for this. Yeah, and another thing I would like to do before I forget is that we have these different conditions, like end snap node is equal to 2 minus 1, or we're using this other one, is snapping end. I think this is a stupid condition to have, especially when I'm not sure if it even works properly. So if I see it again, I'll just remove it and then use this, and then I can actually see in here the snapping end. I think this intersection is, I think these make more sense at least to keep, but that one not so much. So, all right, we can actually I'm just gonna write CR current road. Yeah. Um, we are using it in the draw event. And in the draw event. Um, Here. That's so dumb, but okay. But if end snap node is not equal to minus one. Right. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. And okay. So that works. And this kind of works, I guess. And if I okay, this does not work. It just makes a it doesn't I think maybe perhaps I removed the splitting functionality. Hmm. Yeah, I think hmm, I mean the solution itself makes sense to have this split point count. I mean I guess we can just again say, it's just I feel like it's a kind of a heavy function to pull on the There we go. I like to have to look through an array. I mean, I know it's limits to how many roads can be connected to a road. How many roads can be connected to a node? Yeah, but uh, see, now we're back to this again. Okay, good. Right. That's actually kind of what we want to have happen. And actually, I think this entire thing actually just doesn't matter. I think we only make it more difficult for ourselves in the future, really. So we're just gonna move this in here, actually. Just realize that it's the same code. Just gonna move all that because it does not make sense. Very good. One, two, three, four. So I assume there's like a fifth one somewhere in there. No. Yeah, again, made too many notes. So we're gonna look into the splitting. Yeah, pretty soon. But let me just make sure. Okay, so we just removed that from before, and hmm, I believe, yes, I believe that we need to change this, or we need to change down here the same way that we did before, so that uh, we have the right. Yeah, it makes sense because regardless, we set the end node up here, either here or here, right? And so it only makes sense even for intersection node. Don't use that anymore. I guess I think that's how the code was before. And then yeah. Yeah, now yeah, okay. Now it makes this is kind of silly. And then I want to make sure that this thing here, yeah, definitely. So definitely like says the right thing, right? It says snap into here. Yeah, so it's just this piece of code that's right here that's ruining it for us right now. So, all right. Hmm. Then I think first of all, we're going to put this back in here. Then we're going to put in this. Oh. We're going to copy this statement, right? And it's just for good measure, really. Don't remember if this is exact same way. Yeah, that should not. Oh, well, now it's even better. Awesome. What did I do wrong? I guess I'm not. Let's see. Else, if I guess. Perhaps this is. Yeah, this is this intersection, and this one makes perfect sense, right? That's why I will keep it. This intersection, so this means there's no one there. Let's say intersection point. How are we calculating this? I mean, that's just here, right? And it just gives a list of all the collisions I'm making with other roads on the thing. I'm surprised by how cumbersome this really is. It's not creating any roads right now at all, actually. I see now why, because I moved the entire code inside. So if there's no intersection, which is the first one, right? Then the first road you build. Then of course you cannot. All right, so we're just gonna. All right, there we go. So we're still gonna create. Yes, there we go. So we're still gonna create the road, and this still kind of works. Something weird happened there, which I don't know. Maybe that road. Something happened there. See, there could definitely be like a lazy solution where you just like snap nodes together once they get close enough. And perhaps I'll do that at a very, very small threshold, like just 1 pixel or something, 2 pixels, just to kind of remove some of the chances of bugs. But at the same time, I feel like I might end up making a worse infrastructure of the code if I start going down that path, the lazy path. So that's why I'm sitting here and thinking about what I'm was actually supposed to happen for it to make the best sense on a large scale when we want to scale it up later. And that sometimes that sometimes can take a lot of time. Like you need to have a good idea. All right, so I mean I know I could say if not or whatever, but I'll just say this is don't I'll actually just do like this to reinforce this because this is doing else and then not is There's something we learn. Unless we don't do that. I mean, perhaps it's fine. It's my own code. Who cares? But it's just something that. Okay, so the goal here still is to not have this. Have to. Oh, the fuck. Oh my god, that was a stupid mistake. What was this value before? Collision points, or collision roads, right? Excuse me. It's actually interesting. I haven't seen for some time now how many house can know. So see, this works flawlessly. You see, I made everything work super nicely here. I can do like this, I believe. No, actually I can't. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nodes, and there's 15. So I made way too many double nodes. So there's something with the nodes when it comes to creating nodes. So let's try and deal with that first. Okay. Create road, new road segment. Okay, so well, as much as this might be correct, we also need to remove. Maybe I deleted that part, but we also need to remove the road. So we create a new node here. That's the first step, right? We see. Then we run this script called split road. So we make sure here. I designed this function at some point, but I just want to make sure we don't create any nodes in here, and we don't. We run these. That also creates roads, and in there we can look in there for in a second. But I want to make sure that this piece of code here is not the problem, right? Excuse me. Yes, and so a thing that I have forgotten to even do, which I should do, is this. Is implement this in here as well with the intersection measurement in the first place. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we're gonna make new variables called int x and int y. Okay. We're gonna create it up here. Yep. Then we're gonna say like this: if int snap node snapping. So right now we just directly refer to a variable of another entity, right? Again, we do like a non-negative. It's not equal to -1. So it basically just means is it empty. And if it is empty, then and then we do this, and then we can just put these in here. Oh, wait, what? What the fuck? Uh, am I making a mistake or is it because? Where did I define that as such? I mean, I think the interpreter is just bugging out. Yeah. What's can I? Bro, uh, is there like? I mean, this. I mean, is it because I have defined somewhere else? Can I do like this? No, there's no fucking typing in this. I don't. Oh, okay. Now I think there was just some update issues. Yeah, whatever. Wait, what? Yeah. Okay, so I see a bunch of issues. So there's one issue that is called. I'm gonna write it down. This is from the other stream, and this was the solution I wanted to make. But and actually I'll keep this, but whatever. Problem one: creating nodes or creating rows from a node that is colliding with new road creates issues. Because that's what we saw there. It said on the text that it was drawing next to the mouse that the intersection node count was 2, right? And yes, that's true, and that's fine. But we don't want to make such a big deal out of it if it is those that are right there, right? And so we could also let me just write solution one. Disregards collisions within snapping radius, right? That could work. So if you just say we look at each collision that there is, and then we say, is it so and so close to us, to the main point of the node? If so, then if it is within the distance, then we just remove it completely. Like we just disregard it. We don't count it, and then we're going to have that calculation again that we did before with the split points count, right? This thing. But then it would actually make sense to use it more than just for some other silly reasons. But I don't like that. Maybe that's necessary, but I don't like that uh, idea of like having to disregard any collisions, or I feel like it's kind of some weird difference. So I have another idea right now that I could make, and that would be to not stretch out the road entirely from x, like from point one to point two, but then to have a square in the middle that would then make up the new node, right? That could work, honestly. And so then you would avoid some of these collisions. Hmm. But so we did do the main thing which is important here, even though it looks like we might have not done a lot. So we're creating these two nodes now, but we understand to some degree, at least, yes, now it's starting to like uh, double, triple, too many. But there are some things that work really nicely, like this collision works super nicely. I think even if I do three, it looks super cool, right? That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. But we really want this snapping to actually work properly here. It seems that this updating situation actually does not work that well. Let me just see again here. Let's just draw a maybe a little bit more than 2, 4. Like just a tiny circle around the mouse. We cannot see it. Let me just make it huge then. Who cares? Okay, so it's there. It is there. Okay, so create that here. You can see, so clearly knows how to, as soon as it collides there, we start getting the issue, right? So it's like half of the solution is there. Yeah, I guess we just have to go through every single step to make sure we understand everything and make sure it works. Okay, but we can. So the snapping distance is actually 84 or 48. Sorry. So you can see right when I leave the circle there. That's okay. Hmm. Yeah, this is really bad. Like creating a list every single time. But I guess I was doing a temporary solution again. Okay, well let's just do this too. Let's see. Mm, yes, there. I mean, probably not like this. This is probably going to solve much for us right now, but it definitely will along the way. Okay, so now it's time. It's time for us to go into the script we wrote and look at what monstrosity we have created. What the fuck? Thank you. Can I see when this was when was this posted? I cannot see the thing. I'm sorry, but explain the lines 26 to 20 to 31. I don't know which code you refer to. Maybe I moved around it too much, but I guess what you mean is this. Oh. If this is what you meant, then then this is just a piece of code. This up here makes sure that you cannot make a road that has itself, like it has itself as a start and end node. And then this here is something that we wanted to use as a counter for to separate um, like irrelevant collisions with other roads and relevant collisions with other roads. So we don't want to make a node one pixel above itself because there is a tiny collision with the road that it's connected to. It's better to show you really. Again, now I'm making these really ugly big ones, but you can see here that it recognizes even now as I'm trying to uh, it recognizes now as I'm trying to make a new road that it has an intersection with another road, which is this road up here, right? Regardless of where I'm pointing this at, and that's just an unfortunate, annoying artifact of the way I'm making this. And I could potentially like say that the road segment up here should be moved, closer to the line of the red node here, so that it wouldn't push all the way through, and then I would not collide with it unless I was, at a tight angle like this. But at the same time, I feel like that again doesn't really like it's a lazy, cheap solution, which I don't like doing. And we can definitely see some issues with these node creations. Too many nodes already. There's supposed to be only 3, but now there's 4. And now there's 12. So something terribly wrong is happening somewhere. Let's go into this script. But this is actually pretty decent. It's actually like it has nice structure and everything. Great road. We calculate an angle. We make 2 different lanes. and then we actually create the road. We'll go into the create road. Let's see what happens in here. It just sets some default variables. Then it destroys the lanes when it's destroyed itself. And here we are setting the geometry, which again really should not be. This is perfectly fine as it is. Right? We can work from this, saying that this is a standard point of reference. That this is how we make the nodes. Trying to see if there's anything wrong with this, you know. And I mean, guess the wrong part is having these hard-coded variables in here. But other than that, I think it's really fine. You just give it a start and an end node, create a road between them, right? And that should be able to be done regardless of if the nodes have to be made or if they both of them already exist. So the create road, that's solid. Split road, a bit more skeptical about this script, this road to split. I mean, that makes sense. And then it uses both of its nodes to create an. It makes sense. The idea makes sense at least. And then here we remove the old one. We can push it the new one first, and we remove the old one. I could definitely expect mistakes to happen here when we're creating new roads and we're deleting them from here, right? So no nodes are created when we are running this create road script. I think we can all agree on that. We're taking two nodes as an argument. We're not creating any new nodes at all. And in the road creation event, there's no nodes. There's no nodes anywhere in the road creation event, right? So we're just looking for places where nodes are being created. And I believe the culprit is indeed in the road builder here. And we'll just open all these again. Okay. So when we click on a button, keyboard, click on the one button, we open this up. And then here, or is it when I think it's actually when we click, when we press one, then we go into like selection of create road, and then when we click, um, yes, exactly. Yeah, so we have a road builder in a city, in a house builder here now. Yeah. Okay. So now we're looking at. We're definitely calculating some cool things here that makes sense. These collision points. I remember doing this math for it, and it's pretty simple. Whatever. Okay, and I think it's in here where we were in the beginning is where the issue was. I'll think about this for a moment, and let's go on a break. How about that? How do I go on a break? I think there's a start break for 3 minutes. All right, we are back from the break, and I've thought of a couple of things. So number one, I'll write this down. Add more constraints to road building. So to road builder. Yeah, and so one example that I thought of was too tight of an angle. I think it would make sense to like say if they're just barely I'll show. So if they're just barely like this, and at some point because the lanes they start to merge together in an ugly way. At some point we really want to have that work around work cleanly. Okay. All right, so let's just see here. What I don't like is us calculating this in the step events. These are some, I mean, I guess it's okay, and it should, and it has to be done like that when there's these collision rows, because as you can see, we're detecting them properly, right? So let's just do like 3 rows and then go through. We're detecting them actually quite beautifully. And so what I want is some more snapping to nodes. I don't know why that happened. Oh, maybe fake. Oh, that's cool. Yes, it's current date and time. If I click F5 and note, I did not know that. All right. Snap to all. Snap. Let's just snap more to nodes. And then there is that thing with the nodes too close, but I don't like that so much. I think that will come naturally once we add the other constraints. This is not as much as a constraint. Snap to nodes in intersections. You know, it's interesting. I usually don't, go about solving these kinds of tasks that are mathematically heavy like this. I usually try to avoid them, but I don't think we really have any choice but to try and solve this. And so we know. So let's try and get in. What works? And so actually, I'm not going to put this in parentheses. Intersections with no other nodes involved. And we can conclude that. Okay, so we have let's do like this. That works nicely. That works nicely. And that works nicely. Okay, conclusion. We haven't involved any, so every time we make these roads and we make a new beginning and end node. Right. Let's just with new start and end node. That works very nicely. I think it looks very pretty. Okay. And now let's say we have 35 nodes, and I already did that. You can see, or you can see these arrows that are being made. Let's just try to start from the beginning again. So now we have one road, we have 2 lanes, we have 2 nodes. It makes perfect sense. Now we're going to do the same here. Here we have let's just look at this here. So this is pretty interesting because of the way that it collides with the exact point. And there's something, I'm sure there's some math that you could be done about this, but this is a very interesting feature that comes out of the way that we calculate the, the angle in which we collide with it. Now we went from 4 to 10 nodes. So I don't even want to know how many nodes are underneath here, and maybe up here even 1, 2. I mean, yes, definitely up here, so you can see these extra arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if I can know. Excuse my language. Yeah, so there's a lot of trouble with that stuff. But at the same time, we can make these really nice intersection points. Actually, let me see one last thing, which is how many nodes are going to be after I do this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if I do this, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 6, that's 11. Okay, so definitely, again, we make too many nodes. So I wonder where they are. And perhaps what we should do is to, hmm, I mean, I guess we could do that simple solution where it's like if nodes are too close to each other, then we just remove them. Hmm. I'm gonna think about like better def system display all nodes. I want to like see all the nodes, you know, where they go, so I can better debug. Yeah, but this stream has been super boring, and I'm sorry for that. Nobody really seen it, so I'm gonna cut probably most of this away in a final video. But I wanna share my journey a bit here with everybody. So thank you if you've been participating. I'm gonna see you next time. I'm aiming towards streaming every Sunday at least, and uploading. I want to get back to uploading at least once a week, if any point soon, if possible. But I'm taking it day by day. All right. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.